What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Monday, February 17th, 2023, and we are back with another live here on the Tony Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Please be sure to go ahead and hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Or join the Discord and you should get notified in there just in case the notifications don't come through on here. So y'all see the title. We got an Operation Protect the White Woman today, and today we're talking about Jackie Johnson. She was the DA down there in Georgia that was basically tampering with evidence in order to try to get the McMichaels off for the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Of course, it did not work because the McMichaels and that other dude were sentenced. Well, the McMichaels were sentenced to life without parole. The other guy, I think he got 30 years to life, which means he has to do 30 years before he can get parole. But then there was pressure to go after her. And it's because of this pressure that I truly believe that this outcome was not so surprising. But before we get into all of that, let me acknowledge the people who are here so far in the chat, or those who were already here earlier. We got Beverly, Sandra, Till Dog, Wallow, Kring, Cottrell, Haxon KT, Princess T, Dewani, Miss Nisi, Anita, Leon, Reparations Nation, Jacoby, Crew Reality, Damon, Cosma, Denzimus, Bunker, Nini, and Don P and Iron Wills. Shout out to you so far for those who are here so far. And this is not going to take me long to get through this because it's only literally one article. This actually came out about 2 weeks ago. It hasn't been an update since, but why would there be? This is the last and final update. Well, one thing I do know for certain is when I did Google her practice or her office is permanently closed. Like behind this, they did close her office, so she can't open up she can't be a DA again. But I guess in their eyes, that was punishment enough, when honestly, it definitely wasn't. So let me go ahead now and share my screen, and we'll go over this article right here and see what they're talking about. It says, judge tosses last charge against ex-prosecutor accused of misconduct in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Now, what this woman did was so egregious. First off, she already knew they McMichaels. Like, they had a relationship. They already knew each other before this incident happened, and she was doing whatever she could to try to get them off. Now, here's the crazy part. If the guy that was with the McMichaels didn't even record what happened, they probably would not have even been in jail right now. That was the part that really incriminated them. Like, you couldn't go and see beyond that, but you know what system we live in. You could record something and you could still get off. Look at what happened with Rodney King. But this woman literally tampered with evidence to try to get them off. Something that she knows as a prosecutor, she's not supposed to do. And she did it anyway because she had a relationship with them. She knew them. And I believe the father, the elder McMichael, I believe he used to be a cop. So I think that's how they knew each other. Shout out to WeNext DSB for being a member for 5 months. He said, Shalom Torian, my warrior brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a member. And also shout out to you for gifting those memberships out too. So let's see what they're talking about. And I think somebody asked in here, was it a federal judge that tossed it? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they'll mention it in here. A judge Wednesday ended the trial of former Georgia prosecutor accused of using her influence to protect the men who chased and killed Ahmaud Arbery by throwing out the felony indictment used to charge her, abruptly halting the week-long case before it went to a jury. Now, really pay attention to what I just read. She was not on trial yet. She was getting ready to go on trial, but the judge tossed the charge out that she was hit with for them to go to trial. Otherwise, they would be gearing up now for a trial with her. But the judge tossed out the charge before a jury could even be selected. Operation Protect the White Woman in full effect. And they like to sit up there and say white privilege isn't a thing. Look at what's going on with this. Former district attorney Jackie Johnson has long denied influencing police who initially decided against making arrests when Arbery was fatally shot nearly 5 years ago in coastal Glenn County, where Johnson then served as the top state prosecutor. The judge's ruling closed the book on criminal charges that hung over Johnson for more than 3 years. Johnson faced charges of violating her oath of office, a felony, and a misdemeanor count of obstructing police when her trial opened last week. It ended in her favor Wednesday morning without a verdict from the jury that heard 5 days of testimony from witnesses, including Johnson herself. Senior Judge John R. Turner, so now we have a name of the judge, dismissed the oath violation charge after Johnson's attorneys argued the 2021 indictment was fatally flawed by technical errors and ultimately failed to accuse her of any crimes. Frankly, this is a decision I didn't want to make, Turner said in court, but he said the defense's challenge to the indictment needs to be granted. Turner on Monday ordered Johnson acquitted of the misdemeanor obstruction charge. He ruled after prosecutors rested their case, declaring they failed to show one shred of evidence that Johnson had directed police investigators not to arrest the man who shot Arbery. Arbery's parents said they still believe Johnson tried to protect the men who killed their son. His father, Marcus Arbery Sr., called the judge's decision to end the trial devastating. His mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, said she believed the jury would have convicted Johnson because they saw what happened when they convicted the McMichaels and that other dude when it came to their son. Father and son Greg and Travis McMichael armed themselves with guns and used a pickup truck to chase Arbery after spotting a 25-year-old black man running in their neighborhood just outside the port city of Brunswick on February 23rd, 2020. A neighbor, William Roddy Bryan, joined the pursuit in his own truck and recorded cell phone video of Travis McMichael shooting Arbery at close range with a shotgun. More than 2 months passed without arrest, then the video of the shooting leaked online, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation took over the case from local police. All 3 men were later charged and convicted of murder and federal hate crimes in separate trials. Georgia attorney Chris Carr ordered an investigation of Johnson that resulted in her 2021 indictment. Prosecutors for Carr's office accused Johnson of withholding information that a neighboring district attorney appointed by Carr to the case had already advised police that Arbery was quote-unquote shot in self-defense. I remember when they tried to do the self-defense thing when that situation happened, but it's like, how in the world could you say that was self-defense when y'all was chasing behind him in a car in a pickup truck holding shotguns? That looked like something straight out of Jim Crow in the 50s and 60s. The only thing is that the McMichaels weren't wearing Klan hoods. Greg McMichael worked for Johnson as an investigator and retired the previous year. He left the voicemail for Johnson asking for help. Johnson denied wrongdoing on the witness stand, saying she never told anyone to spare the McMichaels. George Barnhill, the first of 3 outside prosecutors assigned to handle Arbery's case, testified he concluded the shooting was justified without Johnson's input. Ahmaud Arbery was slaughtered for no reason, and then Attorney General Carr piggybacked on the greatest tragedy and indicted an innocent woman, said Brian Steele, Johnson's lead defense attorney. He added Jackie was painted as a person who supported racism. That's just totally false. Johnson was voted out of office in November 2020 and largely blamed her defeat on controversy over Arbery's killing. She left the courthouse without speaking to reporters on Wednesday. Prosecutors struggled to build a case. Their own witness is called to testify about how district attorneys handle conflicts of interest, told the jury they didn't see that Johnson had acted illegally. The indictment accused Johnson of directing 2 police officers not to arrest Travis McMichael. One of them, Stephanie Oliver, testified that never happened. The second officer was never called as a witness. In a statement, Carr said his office had worked to do everything possible to ensure justice was served. We stand by the case we presented, Carr said, and we regret that the jury won't get to decide. Defense attorneys for Johnson asked the judge to dismiss the indictment last week. Turner deferred ruling until Wednesday morning. He didn't explain his reasoning. Johnson's attorneys argued the oath violation cited an expired oath Johnson had taken in 2010. At the time she was indicted, they said Johnson had taken a new oath after winning re-election in 2016. Defense lawyers also said the indictment accused Johnson of actions that weren't oath violations. It says she had shown favor and affection to Greg McMichael, failed to treat Arbery's family with fairness and dignity, and didn't disclose to Carr's office that she had enlisted Barnhill's help before he was officially appointed. It didn't set forth a crime, Steele said. It said that Jackie did not show dignity to the Ahmaud Arbery family because she told the attorney general some things. All of that is lawful. So there it is right there. So she's basically free. It's over. Well, at least on her end, it's over. The McMichaels, I guess they're still trying to fight to see if they can get some kind of new case for them or whatever the case is. But I doubt that's going to work in their favor. They stuck in there. All I can hope is that she is not allowed to be any type of prosecutor ever again. But then again, this is Operation Protect the White Woman at work here. So who knows what might end up happening. But I'm not surprised in the least bit that this occurred because they took so long to go after her. And it was pressured to go after her as well. We all heard that voicemail when it first came out. We all heard that voicemail and what he said and what she said. Let's see what y'all talking about in the chat. Gina says she looks like a wet German shepherd. Nene said Biden's DOJ did nothing about this and tried to sneak them into federal prison against Ahmaud's mother's wishes. Anita says it did look like what they used to call hunting back in the day. Leon said jogging while black. Mr. Williams says one of her attorneys was black too. Oh, so I guess we have a Christopher Darden on the team. Isaac says she looks like Michael Myers without the mask. Well, that's the crazy part because none of us know what Michael Myers looks like, but I guess that's what Michael Myers looks like. Dark Titan says, I really hope karma comes for her. Reparation said she shouldn't be able to practice any type of lawyering. Gina said they never should have taught the pigskin woman how to stand upright on her hind legs and walk. Jill B says, I'm white and I say so on and so forth. Well, like I said, this was a very short article. This is like the only thing they're pertaining to that. So I'm just going to go ahead now and drop the link. Like I said, this is going to be a very quick live because it was only that one article to go with the story. But if y'all haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Let me get my timer because I see some people have already started to pour in. All right, the first person coming up, of course, Wallow.
What's going on, Torian? What's going on, everybody in the chat? This woman right here, she real skanky. Like, you sit up there and try to get these three men not to be charged. Like, out of all the DAs, you was the slimy one. The slimiest out of all the slimiest. She's gonna get her one day. Just because she's getting off now don't mean she's got free for the rest of her life. Oh no, what she did is gonna be in her back of her mind for the rest of her life, and it's gonna start eating at her and eating at her and eating at her until she go fucking insane. Excuse my language, but what goes around comes around because this woman right here, they are their clan sisters, Torian, and I'll land my plane there.
I appreciate it. Shout out to Wallow for coming up. And also another thing I forgot to mention is like I feel like because they got who they wanted, which was the McMichaels and that other dude, they feel like, oh, she's small fish. We can just throw her back into the pond. No, she could have been a huge part of why they could have gotten off. If anything, she was just as big a fish as those other three were. Oh, y'all know what time it is. Sweeping up to the stage is Hurricane Nisi. What's going on?
Good evening, Torian family in the chat. I say this with all seriousness. She may not have went to jail, but she's living in her own private hell right now. She's going to have to look over her shoulder for the rest of her life because I expect somebody to get at her. I truly believe that.
Was that it?
Hold on. I had to burp. Excuse me. Sorry, I just finished eating my dinner. But anyway, no, I'm a firm believer. You reap what you sow. She will get hers. She will get hers. And I'm going to land there.
Appreciate you. Shout out to Hurricane Nisi for coming up. Next up, we got AW1. What's going on?
Yeah, this is protect what Operation Protect White Folks at its best. It's amazing she was the main reason these fools almost got off, and now she's scot free. But it doesn't surprise any of us, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is just. I mean, it's really sad. They all need to be locked up, including her. But yeah, you know, my thoughts go with Arbery's mother. And I think we all should give her a big salute for not forgiving these a-holes that killed her kid, like some did in the past. But yeah, my heart goes out to her, to their family, and I'll land there, Torian.
All right. Shout out to AW1. Songwriter, you that comment, I had to hold myself because I almost laughed in the middle of what AW1 was saying, but I gotta highlight this because that was funny. He says, I don't know who this is, but she's always dry. Wow, that was funny. That kind of made me laugh a little bit. But Reparation Nation, you actually did bring up a good point with this one. You said, respectfully, this won't eat at her. Carolyn Bryant probably didn't suffer a day in her life or have any remorse over murdering Emmett Till. And that is a good point. That woman lived out the rest of her days until she was an elderly woman, all the way until she died of natural causes. You think that woman lost a wink of sleep? I'm just saying, and they let her live off. They let her live the rest of her life until she passed. What, 2 years ago? Was it 2 or 3 years ago? And B was trying to find her, but they kept hiding her. They kept moving her. All right. Next coming to the stage, we got True Royal. What's going on?
How's the royal family? Well, I followed this case real close. But it was so much going on with all the Trump stuff. A lot of people wasn't really paying attention to it. You know, she cried on the witness stand. And the question that I asked is, the judge had made a comment saying, well, he don't know why the McMichaels and that Elmer Fudd looking dude wasn't arrested. Now, somebody had to put the word down for them not to be arrested. This man, they done shot him to death, and we got common sense. It was all because of this cave beast here. Now, she has blood on her hands 3 times. When a white girl got killed, and she let the white girl got killed, and it was a high-speed chase. 2 white cops killed her. She cleaned that up. Then it was another cop that was on the payroll, and his wife divorced him, and he kept harassing her and her new boyfriend, and he ended up killing them. So she got a lot of blood on her hands. And keep this in mind. Dying is easy. Living is hard. I don't want to see these people die. When you got to live hiding and ducking and dodging, her life would never be the same. Now, I feel what the royal family feel at the end of the day, but I had to start processing that in a different way, that no, you ain't got away with a damn thing. And now you got to live your life in a whole different fashion at the end of the day. So she ain't got away with nothing, because they got man-made laws. They got Yahweh's laws. And then we got, believe it or not, individual families got laws. So she's going to always have to live her life in a whole different fashion. She got blood on her hands. And I've been saying this for the longest. When it comes to the royal family, there is a cost messing over the royal family. Ashe.
Shout out to you, True Royal, for coming up. You know, you actually make a good point. If you have to constantly live in fear or constantly live in a position where you're constantly looking over your shoulder, then that's probably what's going to end up happening. That's why people keep saying, you know, oh, where's like Zimmerman, like people that haven't gone after Zimmerman. When's the last time you even heard about him being spotted outside? It's been years since the last time we saw that man outside. The last time we saw him outside, that was the last time. And that was many years ago. If I had to throw out a year, it was probably maybe around like what, 2015 when he was trying to hustle off them Skittles. And we ain't seen or heard from him since. Same thing with what's her name? The one that took out her kid. That they say she didn't, but we know she did. Casey Anthony. When's the last time we saw her? All right, let's see. Next up, we got Mr. Williams. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I did like what Terrell said, because that is true. And you mentioned Casey Anthony. I done plumb forgot about her.
Mm-hmm.
But
the world has.
Oh, yeah. Long story short, even though she did get off, it would have been good for her to get convicted, even if she didn't get no time, because she would only serve like a year, maybe even less or nothing. But it would have kept her from being able to be a DA again, which would have been the icing on the cake, really. Then she really been stuck. But yeah, like you said, you don't see none of them. The last time Zimmerman was out, he got shot at by that white dude for talking noise. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and I did also put in the comment on how I wouldn't be surprised they try to use arguments like that for Brett Favre. I was just thinking of that. I'm like, huh? That don't even make sense. Flawed. I mean, phone conversation is flawed. I guess, you know. But yeah, it's, you know, it's like, I think Professor Black Truth says a lot. The fix was already in. I mean, the fact it took this long, and you see how long it's taken for them to even say Brett Favre's name. They don't even say nothing. So, and another thing, I just want to update you. You mentioned his name, the was it Bobby Charles case?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I seen something, and it's a very small article, meaning they're not trying to talk about it. I guess they chose a jury or something for the lady. That was back in 2024, something like that. Yeah, I was trying to put it in your last chat, but I think YouTube took it down, and I'm not on no social medias to actually give it to you, so I just thought I'd update on that. But all right, man, I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Shout out to Mr. Williams for coming up, and I'm gonna have to look for that article because I've been trying to stay on top of that case ever since that happened. But they kept that case real hush hush. But I'll go and see if I can find it after this live is over. All right, next up we got Jonathan. What's going on?
What's going on, Torian?
Good.
And so I saw the Jackie Johnson's face, and I'm like, oh, is this some good news? Then I looked up and saw Operation Protect the White Girl, and I'm like, oh shoot. But in other words, what from the royal family lady, she basically saying their face that are like far more worse than death. So, you know, Miss Jackie Johnson is gonna be in a situation where she's gonna want to take herself out because she ain't gonna handle that pressure. She feel like someone's gonna go after her, and rightfully so, because all this stuff that went down, and all she did was protect the killers and everything, including the Arbery's killers. Yeah, you know, I'm hoping that Ahmaud Arbery's soul, you know, is hunting her every time she sleeps, because she need to be, you know, have every karma thrown her way. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much. These people getting away with too much. You know what I'm saying? It's like by now we don't see it. We get it. We should know by now that, you know, justice means just us, as in us Caucasians, us white folks. Not justice for no one else but us, especially no justice for no one else, especially black people. It's going to always be for us. That's why I'm waiting on the karma that's going to hit her, those crooked judges, the crooked prosecutors, every crooked person that works in that court, the justice court system, who let all these they're white people.
It's been a while since the last time the buzzer went off, and it hit Jonathan today. I'm surprised Wallow wasn't in here to type in his usual 2 words. Buzzer incoming. And shout out to DSB for gifting all these memberships. I'm just looking over at all these little green highlights just pop up in the chat. Shout out to DSB for gifting all these memberships, and shout out to everyone who ended up getting one. All right, next up we got Denzimas. What's going on?
Hey, can you get me on the next one? Can you can I go next? Because I got about to have a lot of noise. I'll go next.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, in that case, next up we got Church. What's going on?
How you doing, Torian? Blessings to you. Blessings to the chat. I'm gonna be honest with you, respectfully. There's a lot of family in here that's very hopeful of things that we know isn't gonna happen. Like, this woman doesn't care. She's not gonna go to sleep dreaming about anything but the fact that she just got away with the skin of her teeth. And this is why we need a hate crime bill specifically for us, because there's people in high areas and high positions that are able to do this stuff and get away with it. She don't care, just like Carolyn Bryant didn't care, and it's not going to haunt her. So we need to make sure that, and I'm be 100% with you, power tools, pack your power tools, protect yourself, no matter what the situation is, because this shouldn't have happened. Period, point in black. I'm gonna land with that.
Appreciate you, Church, for coming up. All right, let's see if Denzimas is ready. Are you ready? Are you good now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, go ahead.
All I'm gonna say is they may have gotten away with it on this level, but they definitely not gonna get away with it in the next life. I can't tell you how many people, because I have parents who work in the medical industry, and I can't tell you how many of them folks, when they get on their deathbeds, they beg us for forgiveness because they see demonic shit. So, like I said, she may have gotten away with it for now, but she's going to face the consequences eventually. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Shout out to Denzimas for coming up, and I see we got someone that is making a round trip. Troya, welcome back.
Yeah, I have to add something. Okay. And the brother, not the brother, the last one that spoke, but prior to, maybe he don't know what happened to the Breonna Taylor situation. The cop that was involved in murdering Breonna Taylor, he kept saying that Breonna Taylor's ghost was following him and he could not sleep. In Bryant's situation with Emmett Till, those guys, one of the guys that was part of his murder also had the same situation. He kept saying a ghost was following them, and then all of them ended up dying terribly. And then karma hit where one of their children ended up dying and stuff. So I'm respectfully disagreeing with the brother. Yeah, we do want certain things to happen, and that really did happen. You can go do your own research. And the last thing I want to say is the fix was already in. The DA brought in a very sloppy ass case. All right, I'm gone.
Okay. All right. Thanks again for Troy for coming up and adding that into the conversation. But if there's anyone else that would like to come up, I'll put the link in the chat one more time. A lot of people already came up, so that might be it for the night. But I'll put it in the chat again just in case anybody else would like to come up. Y'all, everything involved in this super chat is all from DSB, being one acknowledging that they're a member for 5 months, and the rest were them gifting memberships to a whole bunch of people. So shout out to DSB for doing the damn thing. Ms. Nisi says the next lighthearted topic, I want my song. I don't even know what your song is. I don't even know what your song is. I want to know what this song is because I'm actually kind of clueless. Nene says, I will never forget about the defense lawyer talking about his dirty toenails. What? What case was this? Was it this case? You said any song. Wow. Ms. Nisi must think I have the voice of Luther Vandross or something. All right, y'all. It doesn't look like there's going to be anyone else coming up, but that's fine. We had probably about 8 people come up and speak tonight, but I appreciate each and every one of you for coming up. Tomorrow, if you look at the video list, there's the 10 a.m. video coming tomorrow. There won't be a live tomorrow. No live tomorrow. But shout out to everyone that came up. Shout out to DSB again for gifting all the memberships and all of that good stuff. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring this live to a close. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to everybody over there on Patreon. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you didn't catch the live, shout out to the replay gang. I do appreciate each and every one of you for coming out tonight, this evening. You will hear from me tomorrow at 10 a.m. Make sure you are locked in for that commentary. And with that being said, good night, be safe, stay warm, and most importantly, be one.